Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy, man. For today's video, we got a video about Hoops Reference titled Grading Every 2019 NBA Draft Lottery Pick 3 years later. So we reacted to the 2021, the 2020 draft, not the 2021. I don't think he did that for a video here, man. And it was a lot of fun, you know, just looking back and stuff like that. You always roasting Killian Hayes. But, yeah, so at this point now, things get sketchy and bad for a Detroit Pistons fan. Because at this point, there was no Troy Weaver. It wasn't Stan Van Gundy. I think that was the year before. But, yeah, man, pretty dark times right here. So let's get it.
Sports hindsight is always 2020 when looking back at decisions made in the past, and even though certain moves...
By the way, I do apologize for the sleeve, for not wearing sleeves. Just got back in the gym. And, yeah, man, before I was hooping with a Spud Webb, Glenn Davis, Big Baby Davis hybrid. And now, man, I lost like 30 pounds back at the gym and stuff. I lost pounds before going to the gym, which is crazy, but I'm just, man, I'm like hooping different now, baby. It's nice, man. So, I don't know. I'm feeling good about myself.
Sense at the time.
Please make fun of my lunch lady arms in the comment section below.
The NBA draft
and also leave a like if you don't mind.
Offers hope for the futures of all 30 NBA franchises because the ability to land the next big star can come with any of the selections made. With that being said, though, the teams that pass on the next big star will
I forgot who everybody were in win at this point.
And this brings us to the topic of today's video. We started on this trend last video and are now moving on to the next year, so go check out that last video if you missed it, but today we'll be taking a look at the 2019 NBA Draft Lottery, and 3 years later, we'll be giving a grade to each selection made based on how the pick has worked out since then. Before we start though, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin.
Alright.
Starting things
Zion,
off,
A-.
New Orleans Pelicans selected Zion Williamson first overall, and the
A- is good. It's because we did see the season where he dropped 27 points. That's a good grade, because not an A, because, there's still some what ifs, but we know his future is going to be bright.
Grade here 3 years later is an A-. Zion has had an incredible
and his dinner plate's gonna be light. A lot of leafy greens.
So putting a grade to it was honestly pretty tough. But despite all of the ups and downs, his talent still shines through when he's on the court. So ultimately, taking him first overall is still deserving of a good grade. It's not a perfect grade, as you can see.
Dr. Strange opened up a portal, man.
But it is close, as long as Zion gets back to his prior form and continues to produce.
That damn jump shot. He made 5 threes that game.
There are legitimate injury concerns as he's played just 85 games through 3 seasons, but his talent makes it at least a little bit worth it as long as he can fix that moving forward. Next, with the second pick, the grade here is an A+. The Grizzlies landed themselves a superstar talent and franchise cornerstone who has already elevated them to heights nobody could have foreseen so soon, and they got someone as...
Who would y'all take in the #1 pick in the draft? Ja Morant? Cade Cunningham?
Good as he is, with none of the health concerns that come with Zion Williamson, so the A+ was an easy decision. The Grizzlies were a rebuilding team expected to be a few years away from
he shot that up quickly.
Meaningful, but Ja Morant came in
and
led them to the playoffs in his second season, and then in his third season led them to having the second best record.
Damn, he's already gonna be 4 years old.
Zero regrets here, as it was arguably the best pick in the draft. Next, with the third pick, the New York Knicks selected RJ Barrett.
I say it forever and always. RJ Barrett is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. He's going to be an all-star this season. If the Knicks are good. If they're good. And by good, I mean like in the playoffs run by the all-star break.
The grade here is a B+.
Yeah.
Barrett was viewed as the consensus third best prospect in the draft at the time that it went down, and even though he hasn't proven to be the third best player in the draft after 3 years, he has still been pretty good, showing solid progress in each season that he's played. He's coming off of a season where he scored 20 points per game. He's the Knicks' best perimeter defender, typically guarding the opposing team's best player, and has flashed some good passing talent too.
Damn, I know he had defense like that.
He needs to continue to work on his consistency shooting the ball from the outside and his overall shot selection, because he makes just 41% of his shots and 34% of his threes. But all in all, at 22 years old, he's doing very well in his role.
He's a stud.
Up next with
Deandre
the fourth
Hunter
pick,
B.
the Atlanta Hawks traded for the pick and took Deandre Hunter with it, and the grade here is a B.
That's right, he was on the Lakers, wasn't he?
Just felt safe at the time, and 3 years later, that's exactly what it was. He was the ideal 3-and-D mold of the class, and that's what the Hawks needed at the time, so to that extent, it
I kind of saw him as like a, I mean, got 3-point shot and everything, but I don't know, I kind of saw him as like a Draymond Green, just like somebody that's going to do like a little bit of everything out on the court. I like players like, I think Deandre Hunter still has a really bright future. I know he's had some injury issues though.
Hunter is a solid defender that spaces the floor and plays his role well, but his ceiling is much lower than other prospects from the class, and when you're drafting as high as 4th overall,
he was a glue guy pick.
With great grades for going with the low-risk, low-reward option, even if it has worked out, and he has been a productive contributor for them, so a B seems fair. Next, with the 5th pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers selected Darius Garland, and the grade here is an A+. Garland has taken huge strides as a point guard in each of his 3 seasons, and now he's proving to be a star.
I was concerned with his injuries early on, but he's a beast now.
Some of the best point guards in the league. He's coming off of a season where he averaged about 22 points and 9 assists per game. He shoots the ball efficiently both inside and out, and he got nominated for what should be the first of many All-Star games he'll be a part of throughout his career.
And he's just got a cool name. Like, Darius Garland is just a great name. It's just a great name. I'm going to switch my name to Darius Garland.
This past season. When you're drafting in the top 5, you're hoping to land someone that can become a star for your team, and that's exactly what the Cavaliers accomplished here. Next, with the 6th pick, the Timberwolves traded for the pick and selected Jarrett Culver, and with it, the grade here is an F. Unfortunately, in back-to-back selections, we see the exact opposite ends of the spectrum.
Also a very cool name.
From an established star to someone on the verge of
a good basketball player.
Draft bust. In each of his 3 seasons, Culver has seen his role on his team grow smaller and smaller.
Y'all ever eat at Culver's before? The damn Butterburger, baby.
His play on the court just hasn't shown much, if any, improvement to make teams
better than In-N-Out
investing themselves in his development. The Timberwolves traded him to the Grizzlies last season, and he barely got any minutes, and now he's still unsigned as a free agent as we speak. As a prospect, he was viewed as a player who could give you a little bit of everything, but the issue with players like that is he was never necessarily good or great.
Now the only thing he gives you is the damn warm seat on the bench.
And at the NBA level, he couldn't find an area he could contribute in consistently. Next, with the 7th pick, the Chicago Bulls selected Coby White, and the grade here is a B-. Coby White was drafted under the assumption he could one day be the team's starting point guard of the future, but through 3 seasons, that just does not look very likely anymore, especially now that they're back to being a playoff.
Yeah, I see him as a Jordan Clarkson type.
Last season was the first time
I've been saying that since they got drafted.
Playoff squad, and White settled into a 6th-man role where his scoring talent was utilized most heavily, and as a bench scoring threat, he is definitely valuable.
It's a good role for him.
But that now seems like his realistic role moving forward, hence the...
I also think the Magic need to do that with Cole Anthony. I don't know why, but like Cole Anthony just seems like he'd be a nice scorer off the bench that you give the team to Jalen Suggs, right? I don't know. I just like, there's certain guys that like start where you're like, it's fine they're starting, but I could see in a championship scenario better roles.
Slightly above average grade. Next, with the 8th pick, the New Orleans Pelicans traded for the pick and selected Jaxson Hayes.
Yeah, he alright. I'll give him a C-.
Hayes is an incredible athlete for a big man who moves well and elevates high above the rim for finishes, and on defense he's coming along as a rim protector, but after 3 seasons, he's still incredibly raw overall.
I like you've been shooting the 3.
Inconsistent as a performer on the court. He's someone who averages 9 points and 4 rebounds off the bench. He finishes well around the basket when opportunities present themselves, but he's going into a year next season where he's about to have even more competition for minutes at his position and could find himself on the outside looking into their rotation. Next, with
Rui
the 9th
Hachimura.
pick, the Washington Wizards selected
Wizards got too many damn
and
forwards.
The grade here is a B. Hachimura came out as a rookie and provided some balanced offensive production with a solid face-up game, but struggled a bit defensively, and now 3 years into his career, he really hasn't improved much, if at all, as a player, but he was good from the start, so it's a weird
conundrum. Go to the Thunder.
He's a decent secondary scoring threat who has improved his 3-point shot, but while his percentages went up, his overall scoring went down, which tells me he's best utilized in a smaller role where he can contribute in spurts. There's nothing wrong with players like that. It's a good pick, just not a great one. Next, with the 10th pick,
Reddish. Man, I said this dude was next Paul George.
The grade here is a D. Reddish was a raw prospect, but had the ideal build to develop into a modern-day wing player with a physical profile that can dominate both ends, and he had a few flashes at Duke that led people to believe that he could become a dominant scorer down the line.
And he
but
still
now,
can.
After 3 years, those inconsistencies are still there in his game. He never really managed to break into the Hawks rotation on a regular basis, and eventually the team traded him to the New York Knicks, where he found himself in an even smaller role this past year.
Spurs.
We're still waiting on him to have his breakout year, and time is definitely ticking. Up next with the 11th pick, the Phoenix Suns selected Cameron Johnson.
Yeah, this was probably the most questionable pick in the draft at the time. I remember people saying there was reach, but he has fit that role perfectly. I mean, he was the most improved player talk last year.
And the grade here is a B+.
Love it.
I'll be honest, at the time of the 2019 draft, I thought this pick was a bit of a reach, but sometimes playing it safe at the end of the lottery can work out for you, and this is a perfect example of that being the case. Johnson is a fantastic 3-and-D wing player for the Suns and plays a huge role on the team that just finished with the best record in the league. He shot 43% from 3 last year, he scored about 13 points per game, and he's a pick that has just really worked out well considering the circumstances.
As a power forward,
Next, with the 12th pick, the Charlotte Hornets selected PJ Washington,
I like DJ.
And the grade here is a B. Washington has been a solid stretch 4 throughout his career, who has probably been a little bit underrated at times. He reliably knocks down threes.
I talk about him in trade talks all the time.
Plus he crashes the glass. He's not a flashy player at all and doesn't command touches consistently to be effective, but he's a solid player nonetheless that they found at the end of the lottery. Next, with the 13th pick, the Miami Heat selected Tyler Herro, and the grade here is an
fantastic.
A. Herro has definitely outplayed all expectations put on him through 3 years, and was an outstanding selection for the Heat here. He broke out in the bubble, helping the team make it all the way to the finals as a rookie. Then he just finished last year as the winner of the
I loved it in the bubble, the playoffs. Like, Tyler Herro, there was times where he would just hit some clutch-ass shots. You're like, damn, this kid is special.
Year award. He's an efficient 20-point scorer that provides a much-needed scoring punch for one of the best teams in the league, and that kind of skill set is obviously always a home run to find, especially at this pick. And finally, the last pick of the lottery
the Pistons. That's right, because they got the playoffs, didn't
Celtics, and the grade here is an F.
Oh yeah, no Sekou Doumbouya we gotta see. Cool.
Really made much of an impact at the NBA level. And the Celtics ended up packing him in a trade to the Spurs last season, so he is no longer with the team. Maybe a fresh start in San Antonio will help him get back on track, but in hindsight,
they got Romeo on Spurs. I forgot. Okay.
Consider how much talent was available later on in this draft. And with that being said, that's all I have.
All right, that's the end of the video. I forgot that Sekou was drafted right after the lottery. So damn. Okay, I don't feel as bad about that pick now because we didn't have a lottery pick, so we just drafted it, dude. Right? It's a good situation. So what we got for this video, guys. Great video by Hoops Reference. As always, link to his channel. Subscribe, like y'all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.